In a peaceful little village nestled amidst the verdant hills of Africa, there unfolds a heartwarming tale of an extraordinary friendship between a man and a lion. Robert, a devoted conservationist, had dedicated his life to protecting the region's wildlife, especially the majestic lions that roamed the nearby sanctuary. He shared a profound connection with these magnificent creatures, understanding their behavior and respecting their presence in the delicate ecosystem. One fateful day, as Robert patrolled the sanctuary in his weathered Jeep, the familiar sounds of the bush were broken by an unusual stillness. He decided to investigate on foot, his keen eyes scanning the undergrowth. It was then that he stumbled upon a distressing sight. A fully grown male lion, with a thick, golden mane that seemed to radiate strength even in its stillness, lay motionless on the ground, a deep, ugly wound marring its flank. Robert approached the animal cautiously, his heart sinking with pity and a surge of protective instinct. He immediately recognized it as Scarface, a lion renowned throughout the region not only for his impressive size and power, but also for his courageous spirit, the proud and formidable leader of one of the largest and most respected prides in the area. Scarface was a symbol of the wild, a creature both feared and admired by the local communities. Without hesitation, Robert sprang into action. He knew that without immediate help, Scarface would surely perish, succumbing to infection or blood loss. With the swift and efficient assistance of his fellow rangers, who arrived quickly after Robert radioed in his discovery, they carefully and gently lifted the injured lion onto a sturdy stretcher. The task was arduous, given Scarface's size and weight, but their shared concern for the magnificent animal fueled their efforts. They transported him back to the rudimentary but well-equipped ranger station, their vehicle bumping along the rough terrain. There, under the dim but focused light of the station's generator, Robert, drawing upon his extensive first aid knowledge and experience with injured wildlife, meticulously cleaned the deep gash, staunching the flow of blood with practiced hands and applying antiseptic to ward off infection. He stayed awake through the long, anxious night, closely monitoring the lion's shallow breaths, his brow furrowed with worry as he silently prayed for its survival, willing his own strength into the weakened animal. The following days were a challenging and often disheartening battle against the odds. Scarface remained weak and visibly in pain, his powerful body now frail and vulnerable. Yet, deep within his golden eyes, Robert could still see a flicker of the indomitable will to live that had defined the lion's life. Robert dedicated himself entirely to Scarface's care, patiently coaxing small pieces of fresh meat between the lion's jaws and ensuring he remained hydrated with fresh water, drop by painstaking drop at times. He spoke softly to the injured creature, his voice a soothing presence in the sterile environment of the makeshift infirmary. Gradually, almost imperceptibly at first, an unusual and profound bond began to form between the quiet, dedicated man and the once ferocious beast. Scarface, as if understanding the unwavering kindness and gentle intentions behind Robert's actions, would occasionally offer a soft rumble in his chest or gently nuzzle his large head against Robert's hand, looking at him with soft, golden eyes that seemed to hold a dawning trust. News of the injured lion and the tireless ranger who was nursing him back to health spread rapidly throughout the small village and the surrounding communities. Many of the local people, who traditionally held lions in a mixture of fear and deep respect, were drawn to the ranger station to witness this extraordinary scene firsthand. They watched in awe and quiet wonder at Robert's unwavering patience and profound compassion, and the palpable connection that had clearly developed between him and the recovering Scarface. Whispers of Robert's bravery and Scarface's apparent acceptance of his help circulated, becoming a source of fascination and a testament to the unexpected bonds that could form in the heart of the African bush. As the days turned into weeks, Scarface's health steadily and remarkably improved. The deep wound on his flank began to heal, the raw flesh knitting back together, and the powerful muscles beneath started to regain their strength and definition. The light returned to his eyes, brighter and more alert each day, and his once weakened roars began to echo with their former resonance. Robert, with a mixture of joy and a growing sense of impending separation, knew that the time to release the magnificent creature back into his natural habitat was drawing near. It was a bittersweet realization. He was immensely relieved and happy that Scarface had not only survived, but was thriving, a testament to his dedicated care and the lion's own resilience. Yet, a deep and personal sadness began to settle in his heart at the thought of parting ways with his extraordinary friend, this powerful symbol of the wild that had come to trust him. One bright morning, as the first rays of the African sun painted the sky in hues of orange and gold, Robert and the other rangers carefully loaded Scarface into a large, sturdy transport cage. They drove him back to the very area where he had been found, a familiar landscape of scattered copies and whistling thorns. With a deep breath and a silent prayer for Scarface's continued well-being, Robert released the latch. As the cage door swung open, Scarface stepped out cautiously, his senses immediately taking in the familiar scents and sounds of his home. He paused for a long moment, turning his massive head to look directly at Robert, a profound and silent exchange passing between them. Then, with a soft, rumbling roar that sounded unmistakably like a gesture of gratitude, Scarface turned and disappeared into the dense, green foliage, melting back into the wild from whence he came. Robert continued his dedicated work, patrolling the sanctuary, monitoring the wildlife, and ensuring the delicate balance of the ecosystem remained undisturbed. But he never truly forgot Scarface. He often found himself returning to the place where they had parted ways, his eyes scanning the horizon, half expecting, half hoping for a fleeting glimpse of his remarkable lion friend. Months passed, marked by the changing seasons and the rhythmic pulse of the African bush. Then, one afternoon, while Robert was on patrol alone in a familiar section of the sanctuary, the quiet of the bush was shattered by a deep, resonant roar, a roar that sent a jolt of recognition through him. Scarface emerged from the dappled shadows of the trees, no longer bearing any trace of the weakness Robert had once witnessed. He was magnificent, his coat gleaming, his mane thick and full. And beside him was a beautiful lioness, her eyes bright and alert, and trailing behind them were three playful, fluffy cubs, tumbling over each other in their youthful exuberance. Robert was overcome with emotion, tears welling up in his eyes at the sight of this thriving family. Scarface had not only survived, he had flourished. He had found a mate and built a family, a true testament to the resilience of life. The majestic lion, recognizing his former savior, approached Robert with a confident gait, lowering his massive head to gently nudge Robert's leg in an unmistakable gesture of affection. It was an emotional and unforgettable reunion, a powerful and tangible demonstration of the unbreakable bond that can exist between man and animal, a connection that transcended the boundaries of species. Many years later, after a life lived in quiet service and deep connection with the wild, Robert passed away peacefully in his sleep, surrounded by the loving embrace of his family and friends. Robert's funeral was a solemn and deeply moving ceremony, a testament to the profound impact he had on the lives of so many. Villagers, fellow rangers, and his grieving family gathered at the small, weathered stone church, the air thick with a palpable sense of sorrow and profound loss. Heartfelt eulogies were delivered, each one celebrating his dedicated life, his unwavering courage in the face of danger, and his boundless compassion for the intricate beauty of nature and the wild creatures he had so fiercely protected. As the ceremony drew to a close, the final prayers were spoken, and the pallbearers prepared to carry Robert to his final resting place in the quiet churchyard. A subtle yet undeniable commotion rippled through the assembled mourners near the entrance of the church. A few heads turned initially, curiosity etched on their faces. But as the source of the disturbance became clear, the curiosity swiftly morphed into astonishment, a collective gasp rippling through the silent congregation, followed by an absolute, almost reverent silence. Standing majestically in the doorway, framed by the soft, diffused light filtering through the stained glass windows depicting scenes of peace and serenity, was Scarface. The magnificent male lion, his thick, dark golden mane appearing almost luminous in the subdued light, commanded the attention of everyone present. He was not alone. Directly behind him, stepping with a quiet dignity that mirrored their leaders, was the beautiful lioness, her tawny coat blending with the shadows, and closely following their parents were the three playful cubs, now a little older, but still bearing the innocent curiosity of youth, their bright eyes wide as they took in the unusual surroundings. The entire lion family, a sight both breathtaking and deeply poignant, had come to this sacred place as if drawn by an invisible thread of loyalty and affection to pay their final respects. There was no threatening growl, no restless pacing, no hint of the wild power that these creatures possessed. The lions moved with a slow, deliberate grace, each step seeming to carry a profound understanding of the solemnity of the occasion and the sanctity of the space. They proceeded slowly down the aisle, their eyes fixed on the flower-draped coffin where Robert lay in peaceful repose. Scarface stopped at the foot of the coffin, his large head held low, his bright golden eyes, now filled with a deep and unmistakable sadness, fixed intently on the still form of the man who had once saved his life, the man who had shown him kindness and offered him a second chance. A soft, mournful sigh, a deep rumble that resonated with a profound sense of loss, escaped the powerful chest of a lion, echoing through the hushed silence of the church, touching the very soul of each witness. The lioness gently nudged Scarface's side, a silent gesture of comfort and shared grief, while the three cubs huddled close to their parents, their youthful energy subdued by the somber atmosphere. Those present in the church were utterly spellbound, frozen in a moment of profound awe and disbelief. No one dared to speak. No one dared to break the extraordinary tableau unfolding before their eyes. They were witnessing something truly miraculous, a powerful and undeniable testament to the depth and singularity of the bond between Robert and the lion. It was as if, by some mysterious understanding that transcended the boundaries of language and species, Scarface and his family had sensed the loss, had found their way to this place of mourning to offer their silent farewell to their friend and benefactor. Tears streamed silently down the faces of many, a mixture of sorrow for the loss of Robert and profound emotion at the incredible display of loyalty and affection from these wild creatures. The moment transcended all barriers of species, a powerful and moving affirmation of the deep interconnectedness of all living beings. After a long, suspended moment of quiet contemplation, Scarface gently nudged the coffin one last time with his large head, a final, silent farewell. Then, with a slow and deliberate turn, he led his family back up the aisle. The entire lion family, moving with the same quiet dignity with which they had arrived, slowly and silently exited the church, disappearing back into the soft, fading light outside, leaving behind a profound sense of wonder and a silence that spoke volumes. Not a single word was uttered after they departed. The majestic and deeply moving presence of the lions had conveyed a tribute more powerful and eloquent than any human language could have achieved. It was a final farewell, a heartfelt and unforgettable remembrance from the very heart of the wild for the man who had dedicated his entire life to loving and protecting it. The memory of that extraordinary moment would forever be etched in the hearts and minds of the villagers and the rangers, a timeless testament to a bond that defied all expectations. Amidst the quiet contemplation that followed, the story of Robert and Scarface silently etched a simple yet profoundly powerful truth into the collective consciousness of the community. Compassion knows no boundaries. It painted a vivid picture of a world where the artificial divisions between species dissolved in the face of genuine empathy, where a humble conservationist had touched the very heart of the king of the savannah. Through a selfless act of rescue and a lifetime of unwavering respect, a miraculous and enduring bond had blossomed, offering irrefutable proof of the deep and often unseen connections that can exist between humans and the wild. And until the very last moment, Scarface's extraordinary loyalty and heartfelt gratitude served as a powerful and unforgettable tribute, forever echoing the timeless value of love, respect, and harmonious coexistence between all living things. And when you think about this touching story, do friendship and compassion truly transcend all boundaries? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this meaningful story and want to explore more wonders of the natural world, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next fascinating videos.